Hi, welcome to Coffee and Astronomy. I'm Jim Craig, and this week I want to talk a little bit about image processing because somebody asked me about the images coming back from the Perseverance rover, which have been really phenomenal. But a good number of the images come back and they're black and white. And somebody asked me first why they use black and white images, and then the second question was how do you get color pictures from black and white images? So I thought I'd talk a little bit about that. First, the why. Your image chip is going to be of a particular size, and you can, for color, have 3 different color pixels on there, or picture elements, red, green, and blue, and that comes together and can make your full color picture. If you look on your computer monitor, if you look really close to the magnifier, you can see the red, green, and blue pixels, and then based on how bright each of those pixels are, they pretty much trick your eye into seeing all the colors of the spectrum. On that same size chip, you can, if you just use monochrome, black and white, you can get 3 times as many picture elements, so you can get higher resolution on the same size chip. And that's used a lot by astrophotographers as well, but it can save some bandwidth. Now, modern digital video cameras usually use 16 bits. They used to be 8-bit, and with 8 bits you could get 256 levels of gray. And that was it. Modern cameras use 16 bits or more, sometimes 24 bits, but for the sake of argument, we'll say 16 bits. You can get 65,535 levels of gray from one picture element, from one pixel. So you can get more subtle detail, and your grays, instead of stair-stepping, are more gradual, and they can fool the eye into better seeing the image. Analog, of course, you can have an infinite number, but we don't use, transferring this sort of data analog just simply wouldn't work. So they take black and white pictures. Now, how they turn those black and white pictures into color pictures is really pretty simple. They put a color filter, they have a wheel that's got holes in it, and each of those holes has a filter on it. So they'll take a shot through the first filter that's a red filter, and it will look just like a red piece of glass. Then they'll rotate that filter wheel, and it'll take a green shot. It'll rotate again and take a blue shot. And then sometimes they'll take another one that's just monochrome. It's called a luminance value. I'm not going to worry about luminance values right now. But what I've got here are some raw black and white images from the Perseverance rover of their targeting device, something that they use for calibrating the camera. So we're going to go over to, excuse me, over to a piece of software called GIMP. At least I thought we were. Let me just click there. And here we see the imaging target. Now, I want you to take a look at the brightness of these targets. These spots are all different colors. Like right down here at the bottom, you're going to see this one, and this one. You have red, green, and blue. So let's go filter by filter. That's the red. And if you look here, the red filter here is brighter than the other two. Look here, green is a bit brighter. And then blue. Now all we have to do is combine those images together. These are 16-bit images. If we come up to colors, components, compose, I'm going to stretch this window out a little bit so you can see it. So there's a red channel. In the green channel it's got red. Let's change that to green. And then the blue channel we want blue. And we hit OK. It's combined them, and there we have a color image. And you can see the red, green, and blue targets we talked about. We have green, yellow, blue, red, and different shades of gray. Now what the image processor would do from this point is he or she would use a calibration target to try to calibrate the brightness and contrast and that sort of thing. So one of the things I have here is a filter. and I would adjust that and compare that to the target that I've got. Essentially, the target would actually have the same colors, so we would get the colors calibrated properly. And there we have a full color picture from 3 black and white images taken on Mars. And it's really that simple. Now they do a lot more image processing. They use false color and that sort of thing. But that's really how astronomers do it too. On telescopes, they'll have a monochrome camera with a filter wheel. And of course, modern telescopes working the way they do, or modern gear working the way they do, you can automate that process and take hours of red images and hours of green images and hours of blue images, then take them into imaging processing software, combine them together into one single color image, then do tweaking to maybe bring out the reds a little bit more, or the greens a little bit more, the contrast. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can be done in image processing, and in some cases, really very simple sorts of things. Amateur astronomers are turning out remarkable images by using this sort of gear. Well, that's pretty much what I have for this week. If you want to, by the way, I'm going to put a link down below to the software that I use. That's GIMP, the new image manipulation program. It's open source. It's available for Windows, Macintosh, and Linux. It's very versatile. You can do a lot with it. Think of it as sort of free version of Photoshop. It's got a lot of the same capabilities, and it doesn't cost anything. And again, it's cross-platform, runs on a lot of different computers. Also down below, you're going to see a link to my Patreon page. If you enjoy these videos and want to help me bring them to you, consider becoming a Patreon by subscribing. For as little as $1 a week, you can help me bring you these videos. I do exclusive content. I do giveaways. And because I can't really advertise it here on my Patreon page, I'm going to have a link to my merchandise shop where you can get Planet of Mystery merchandise. I recently released a series of shirts. I call them the Solar System Tour shirts. It's as if you went on vacation in the solar system and you brought home a souvenir t-shirt. And I've got them for the 8 major planets and the dwarf planets. So consider taking a look over there at that as well. But in order to become a subscriber, you just go to patreon.com, Planet of Mystery. That's planet_of_mystery. And you can help me out. You can help yourself out. It also gives you exclusive access to me. If you ask me a question on Patreon, you will get an answer directly. And I've got over 30 years of experience teaching astronomy, and I've got 50 years of experience just being involved in astronomy. I started when I was a kid, and I have been involved with astronomy my entire life. And if you want to get access to the sort of information that I've got about the space program, about the spacecraft that are coming up, or you just want an opinion, get in touch with me on Patreon. I'll be happy to help you out. So until next week, this is Jim Craig with Coffee and Astronomy, and I'm also going to put a link to the website where you can get these great images from the Perseverance Rover, because I think that they are really worth looking at. So we'll see you next week.